Hello again. And across the street as we walk along Fifth Avenue are some of the New York University dormitories.
And that's the Venice design behind it.
Where is that?
Architecture behind the Venice, it looks like Venice.
Venice?
Yeah, look.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Yeah, the architecture over there looks a bit like Venice, Henry pointed out, and I think he's right. NYU, of course, stands for New York University. And here we have one of the full flowering magnolia trees
And the
in New York.
president in office was married in this church.
Oh yeah, the only president who ever took office was married in this church, which is the Church of the Ascension. And what kind of a church is it?
I think
It's not Presbyterian.
yeah, it is one of them.
Oh, look, there's a sparrow mass that they're going to have in the Mozart Requiem and the Missa Brevis. Yeah, let me take a picture of some of the flowers they have over here.
These daffodils.
Yeah, they're a bit unusual, right? And here is that flowering magnolia that is just about giving up its ghost. And I'm not quite sure what these are. I don't think they're lilies, Henry. What are they?
Never seen them.
Yeah, we're not quite sure what they are, but they're pretty, whatever they are. And from here they look very, very orange with a yellow inside. I'm not sure how they'll look when they come out, but they have some very nice flowers in front of. Oh, it's an Episcopal church, Henry. Yeah, an Episcopal church, not a Presbyterian, which is next door. And I think that's enough flowers to show you. Well, now maybe we'll show you a few more. This is the front of the door of the Ascension, Church of the Ascension, Episcopal Church. And you're greeted by flower pots on either side. And right above the portal it says, "Except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it." Okay, and on this side we have another magnolia tree that is on its last legs. And there we have it. I can get, let me see if I'm, yeah, this is that building that reminded Henry of Venice. And let me get close to it so you can see the detail of the balcony on the third floor. And that is 39 Fifth Avenue. Now this is the next block down, and this is now a Presbyterian church. And those are not flowers that you see over there.
Plastic bottles.
They're making trees out of plastic balloons, aren't they?
Plastic bottles.
Plastic bottles, okay.
So.
And this is the first Presbyterian church in the New York City. And here is how they're making them. You can see how hard at work they are. And when they finish them, they put them over there. And as you can see, it's in the yard of this first Presbyterian church. So there you have it.
That's the last match.
Okay, Henry's pointing out that that brownstone building, which is now the Salmagundi Club, is the last of the Fifth Avenue mansions. All of Fifth Avenue looked like that in the early days, and now it's changed significantly.
And this is the Stanford White building.
The Stanford Wright building. Now Stanford Wright,
White.
Stanford White rather,
He designed that arch down there, and
He-
he also worked on the White House.
he worked in the White House and designed the Washington Arch that I showed you a little time earlier. So now you've seen a good portion of Lower Fifth Avenue. And I'm not sure what kind of tree that is, Vigo or Wolfgang, but you may be able to be some help here. This is the other side of the First Presbyterian Church, and this is right down the block from where Henry lives. And they even have a school attached to it, little yard on the other side, and that over across the street is the famous Forbes building, once owned by Malcolm Forbes, now his sons. And we're walking down Fifth Avenue closer to 12th Street. I have a bus on my right, that's what's making all that noise. And there is Henry. And here is 12th Street. I'll point out that this is the apartment that Ramsey Clark lives in. Yeah, not everybody will know who he is. And there's a nice little house surrounded by, now if I'm not mistaken, an architect once told us, didn't Stanford White build this gray house for his sister? Yeah. So he was very active down here, Mr. White was. And down towards the end of the block once lived Meryl Streep. She since sold the place and moved on, but she had her home here for many years. And there's more of the flowering pear trees that we see throughout New York at this time. And as we walk down the street, we get closer and closer to Henry's abode, where he is now opening the gate. Okay, we're now inside Henry's apartment. That's his front door. That's the famous spiral staircase, which when people try to describe what a spiral staircase is, 95% of them have to use at least one hand to explain what the spiral staircase does. This is his kitchen, his refrigerator, and over here we have his living room. And there you see his statues of Greek gods and goddesses, in back of which is a, what is it, Henry? A Japanese screen, simply a screen. There's the picture of the famous balloon nude by our friend Fraser Diesel. And here are some other pictures, some from South Africa, some from Holland. And over here on the other table, we have more gods and goddesses, but these are of the brass variety. This little lady, surrounded by her dogs, is from England, I believe. And this is a Chinese, what do they call it, Henry?
Chest.
A Chinese chest. Well, that's simple enough. I should know that. This is a famous painting done by the Dutch painter De Jong. And he was from Holland, I believe. And we're not sure who did that. But here you have some chinoiserie, as we call it in French. Or it might even be Japanese. And here are some more brass figures and figurines guarded by these toothless hounds, who are no easy match for anybody who would approach them. And here we have some more pictures hanging on his wall. And this is one of my favorites. It's of an old man walking down a path, being greeted, well, not being greeted, but walking towards what looks like a young man. And here's another. This is another one of my favorites. It looks like the nave or the naps of a church somewhere. And there's his collection of CDs, on top of which is the famous Chinese horse that also guards them. These are his French chairs. And here we have a little bit of Easter lily left over from last week. So there you have it. That, in 3 minutes, is what Henry's apartment looks like.